Like, I'm telling you, he's 99% right.
How dare
That is
you compare freaking Henry David Thoreau to Andrew Tate's monologue on War?
I think her goal is to make men feel bad, but Andrew Tate's goal is to make men feel good.
So the question is, can they bring out a sword if they're a top G? And can they do it?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Midnight Mormons. I am your host, Cardinellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by some very special guests. We've got Brad Whitbeck, Apostle 2025, as well as Will the Thrill Larkins, and the usual suspect, Kwaku L. And today we've got a really important topic. We are discussing fiction, fabulous, fantastic, or false doctrine of one Andrew Cobra Tate. This guy's gotten popular on the interwebs recently, and we're going to do a little deep dive into what's causing the big stirs and react to what is the false or fabulous doctrine of one Andrew Tate. Before we dive right in, you guys got anything you want to say?
I just want to say, again, the only thing I've seen of this guy is a video about carrying around a sword, which sounds great, and then I've heard something about human trafficking, maybe? I have no
as a
idea.
subscriber of Hustler U, what would you say, Kwaku?
I don't not subscribe to Hustler University. I just want to start off by saying this. Andrew Tate, first, there's obviously a level of performance.
For sure,
Okay.
yeah.
But is there?
Well,
there has to be.
Even in just the small amount of stuff
Nobody
I've seen, yeah.
unironically or without any self-awareness says,
Are we
I am
ruining
the top
it for
specimen.
the audience? Are we ruining it for the audience?
No, we're not. They know who he is. There's not one person watching this who's like, who is
Well,
Andrew
dude, Brad
Tate?
barely knew who it was, and I've seen like 5
I
clips.
guarantee you.
We are Mormons. Mormons are
Yeah.
generally a little bit more. Anyway, but here's my thought about him. There's a level of performance. I think it's performance art. He is clearly a very wealthy guy. He goes to the gym. He's someone a lot of people respect.
I don't know, dude. I live in Los Angeles, and do you know how many times you bump into TikTok stars living in weekly rented homes that they Airbnb'd a $10 million mansion, and they say, yo, I'm balling it up today, and they're really just recording like 5 different podcasts and 5 different outfits with a rented Lamborghini and Bugatti in the background. Like, you can literally rent a Bugatti for like $200 a day.
Oh,
so, I mean,
Turo?
like,
Yeah.
well, not a Bugatti, but like a Lamborghini. You can get a 5-year-old Lamborghini Murcielago that nobody realizes is a 5-year-old Lamborghini Murcielago because it still looks like totally sick for less than 500 bones, and Airbnb a mansion for like 1,000 for less than a cost of a music video. You'd be like clocking TikToks looking like you're a baller. So, I mean, anyway.
Oh, but I mean, I think it's pretty well established. He's got a lot of money.
Okay.
Hustler U. He lives in Romania, and he's like shows his mansion that he lives in.
Oh, is he Romanian?
Yeah, because
Well, no, he
said that the U.S. was a failed society, so he moved to Romania.
Oh, wow.
See, maybe that's part of the factual doctrine.
Oh my gosh.
But I just want to start off by saying he kind of reminds me of like. Do you guys remember AlphaCon last year? I guess it was this year.
Yeah.
This is Carter, do you know about AlphaCon?
No, what's that?
AlphaCon.
If you had known, you would have been there.
It's basically
What's the bull's name?
Jeremiah the Bull Evans.
Oh wait, is he the guy that stormed off the set in and got angry that the slightly offensive TV guys asked him about a guy with a big beard? Is the guy with a big
he doesn't
beard?
have a beard. I think he's got a little goatee sometimes, but he's got like a faux hawk kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's like an ex-BYU football player.
What?
And he's
like
huge.
One of these like rich, I'm an alpha guy. And he had this conference called AlphaCon. It was him and like Keith Yackey and the real estate dude and all these like Utah alpha rich bros who had a conference to teach
There was
you how to be
someone
an
that I was
alpha.
really
I'm sorry,
surprised was
you
there. I can't remember.
absolutely lose claim to alpha the second you throw Utah in front of that. I'm sorry, it's kind of like Kentucky, where it's just like, yeah, he's like totally Kentucky alpha. Actually, I would think there was a Kentucky alpha before there was. Anyway, let's keep going.
Oh yeah, Tim Ballard was there for some reason.
Yeah, it was basically just like Utah clout in a room.
Uh-huh.
And they talked about how to be like a rich, successful dude who's an alpha. Now, Andrew Tate reminds me of the perfected version of that energy. Like he saw what they were doing, and he said, "I will raise you one more.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to meet like it's just you can't."
I'll match your crazy and I'll raise you.
Like
I
I can't think of anyone who will out Andrew Tate. It's gonna take someone who just
doesn't care
and his supplements.
No,
I think
I'm
you could do
not
it,
that
bro.
style. I'm not that style. I don't want to. I'm not like I'm a top G. I'm a top G. Like I just don't.
You have,
but it works.
Okay,
you
well, we're
haven't
burying
boxed
the lead.
enough
We got to
people.
show.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're burying the lead here for our audience that is watching. If you're unfamiliar, for those of you that don't know him, Brother Tate. All right, we're gonna show.
Brother Tate.
Yeah, we're gonna show a couple clips. And before we do, hey, little Zoomer dog or Gen Alpha, what do you think of Andrew Tate, dog?
He just says some crazy stuff, and who
You
knows
dig?
how much of it is right, but man, is it funny.
Okay, cool. So here we go. Before we go any further, we'll just these are probably the top 3 that you just dug up really fast.
Just some
Brad?
random clips that we threw in.
Okay, so here we go. Here we go. You ready?
I will not have sons who are too busy buying NFTs and saying, I made a little bit of money and have skinny little arms and go to crypto conventions and be dorks. I will not have nerds as children. I refuse to have a nerd carry the name Tate. If my son is a nerd, one of us has to die, him or me, and I'll challenge him to Mortal Kombat.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like just that clip alone, he says what he's going to say in the most extreme way possible, you know?
Like, come on, this guy's a comedian. This guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, clearly there is a level of performance.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he found a way to make some money. He's got a fun personality.
Let's see if
That's
this is
what
just,
I see.
Let's just see if this is just a flash in the pan or if this is a real deal. All right, let's see what else we got here. Here's number 2. I've never seen this one before. Let's see what he's got to say here.
I guarantee you don't walk around your house with a sword
Yeah.
because you're not a commander. I'm a commander. You know, like when you command the troops into battle. That's me. That's how I live my life. So I walk around my house with a sword. I make threats, like old school threats, like one of the musketeers. I will run you through. Or I challenge men to duels. And they're like, oh, we can't duel. I don't have a sword. You're a full-grown man. You ain't got a sword. I guarantee.
Like, how are you a full-grown man and you don't have a sword?
Well, he did talk about
man.
challenging people to a duel, and we've talked about doing that as a podcast.
That's true.
That-
He's onto something
You guys
with that
remember
one.
Hey,
the one
maybe he
comment
was
we
the
got
one.
on our video where it was a guy, I think in Arizona, who said he was talking about the evangelical antis who do the street preaching, and he was like, how many of you ever challenge one of these guys to a fight? I wanted to challenge him to a boxing match right then and there, and he started crying and called the cops.
Dude,
It reminds me of that. Like, that's Mormon Andrew Tate. Like, going up a street preacher, like, I'll fight you. You want to fight me?
I can't remember. I think we did that on a comment review one time.
we
think-
talked about the importance of bringing back mutual combat. That like the decline of America started when they got rid of mutual combat laws.
Because people don't really say what they mean anymore.
Well, it's just
And
like if
they
you're waiting
just-
for the government to solve all your problems, and all of a sudden the government there's a philosophy, and Elon Musk has mirrored this philosophy that government becomes government and begins its failure. It begins its success and then also its failure when it convinces the population that it has a monopoly on violence. You know what I'm saying? And so I think men have become total pansies because we've gotten rid of mutual combat laws. I would literally just say like, yeah, dude, men should be able to challenge other men to duels. That's why they used to say, oh, do you want to step outside? And Oregon, ironically enough, still has mutual combat laws. If a cop is witness or there's people that are witness and a guy says, you want to step outside? And they both agree to settle a dispute through fighting. It is not a crime as long as just those two people are fighting.
Oh, wow.
I mean, check a lawyer. This is not legal advice to start bar fights. But there's like still like 4 or 5 states that have mutual combat laws where if both agree to fight, you know, like, and the cops show up, people are fighting, they're like, yeah, they both agreed to fight. Then the cops just watch and kind of make sure nobody dies.
So
Wow.
so the question is, can they bring out a sword if they're a top G?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
oh, are you in Hustler U, bro? Are you already a top G?
I'm not on that.
Well, then how are you going to become like a billionaire, dude. How are you gonna have a Bugatti?
Yeah,
I'd rather be a farmer.
Really? That's awesome. Okay, cool. Wait a second. Okay,
Wait,
so let's see what
maybe-
else. Yeah,
We should have mutual combat laws.
that's what I'm saying.
This is a
All
different
social media
podcast.
bullying would end.
Yeah, we definitely need to do a podcast on that.
Now look,
I'm
see,
pro-
this
I'm pro.
is the fabulous doctrine, not the false doctrine, but the fabulous doctrine of Andrew Tate. Like I'm telling you, he's 99% right in 99% things, and that 1% is totally heinous. Like, you know, the possession of other people as property, I'm totally not down with, right? But, you know, we're so used to a world in which 1% to 10% is truth and 90% is garbage, that when somebody comes along that says 90% truth with 10% heinous garbage, we swallow it all up as though it's 100% truth, just because we're so used to people peddling us garbage. So
I mean, he is right. If I walked around my house carrying a sword, I would probably act different.
okay,
Like,
now this one's weird.
Yes,
you sent me
that is
one.
objectively true.
that is
Yes.
objectively
Yes.
true.
Okay, so you just
I don't know that that's a good thing, but
Walk around carrying a sword.
Okay, so you just sent me one, Andrew Tate on worms. I wonder why you chose this one, bro. This one's kind of interesting. Let's
it's
see.
a little bit longer.
It's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna see what Andrew Tate has to say on worms. Okay, here we go. Let's see what he's got to say.
Call people worms a lot. People say, why did you choose that insult? Why do you call people worms? One, because they are worms. And two, because a worm is a pointless creature. The only reason a worm exists is so that bigger, more important animals can eat something. They don't do anything. They can't see. They sit in the dirt and they just move around in the dirt and they try and hide a little bit, and then a bird eats them. The only reason worms survived evolution is because there needed to be some animal for important animals to eat. Eagles need worms. And most people live their lives as worms. Most of you are worms. You don't do anything important. You're just living in your life, living your little dirt, just sitting there wriggling.
Okay, sorry, but dude, I've got to pause this and say, dude, Henry David Thoreau literally said the mass of men live lives of quiet desperation.
How dare
That is
you
Walden.
compare
Yeah.
freaking Henry David Thoreau to Andrew Tate's monologue on worms?
But how is that different?
Oh,
He said,
the death-
most of you are worms. You do nothing. You have sad, pathetic little lives. How else do you describe sad and pathetic lives than lives of quiet desperation? This is a modern Walden.
Oh my
friend.
gosh.
This is a modern
I mean,
Walden.
you're kind of right, but also, is this really? This is what we're going for? The poetry that we have now is,
Dude, look.
most of you are worms.
What do we call him? What do we call him? Will the Thrill? Tell me. Cobra Tate, top G.
Well, that's what he calls himself, but
Okay, so well, his preferred
Top
pronouns
G.
are top G.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go by top G.
You know what I think makes him so entertaining? The fact that he can eloquently and angrily rant about concepts nobody has thought of.
That's true. Like, who else has
He's
a
like
rant on
Dan
worms?
McKinley.
No one has. Yeah. Yes.
Literally, no, there's not-
He's Dan. He's a strange Jim Bro version of Dan McKinley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan in real life.
He
No.
just comes out and it says Adam and Eve were 15 feet tall, so was Noah, and you're stupid if you don't realize it. And then comes around and makes an entire Twitter thread on what was it? Why Scandinavian
You know
women?
why Nordic women look manly?
Yeah. But Japanese women, for some reason,
Like,
are
the Japanese are very feminine. Like,
the most feminine. But okay, with Andrew Tate, this is a really good example of him being a very good comedian because of the level of specificity he's using here. Like, and this I think has been present in all of the videos we've just watched.
Yeah.
He just gets insanely specific about one thing, and that can be so funny.
Okay, let's finish seeing what he has to say here. Hold on.
Hoping an eagle doesn't come along to fuck you up. And if an eagle did come along, you couldn't even defend yourself. A worm has no claws. It hasn't even got, like a skunk can spray smelly piss or something. A worm has zero defensive mechanism. A worm is absolutely and utterly useless. So I use that insult because most of you live worms' lives. People use animals as insults. They'll say you're a bitch, which is a female dog. I don't think a female dog's that insulting to be. I know female dogs. You can have a female police dog that will charge at bullets, or you can have a fire dog that'll run in a burning building. I think the dog that killed that terrorist dude, Abu whoever, that was a girl, wasn't that? Was a female dog.
What? You just said that terrorist dude. Oh, whatever. Oh my gosh, the things.
And I think this is a
that
leftover.
sounds like something Quaku would say. I'll be honest with you.
And this is a leftover thing about Donald Trump that people liked, is that he just said whatever the heck he wanted to, you know? And this is what he's doing. He's saying whatever he wants to.
Now, obviously, we have to play the controversial things he said, because if this is the Andrew Tate that everyone knew, he would not be hated. Everyone would love him because he's hilarious. So let's get to the controversial side. Yeah.
The last, the Mafia one. I've got a Mafia clip here that I was sent.
I don't think that one's the
what about
controversial one.
The women are property one?
Well, from what I understand,
gosh.
that was a misrepresentation.
I know. Just play the clip though.
Andrew Tate says, I hate doing this in real time, but let me see. Andrew Tate says women are property. This one was, I think I saw something along like this, where he was doing an interview with a Barstool Sports guy. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Here's a clip. Let's see what this guy here has to say. Oh yeah, here it is. This is with
Dave Portnoy.
Dude, bro, Will the Thrill.
Nice,
I watch pizza reviews, so.
Dude, you're like crushing
Sweet.
this pop culture, man.
You say a lot of stuff about women like that they're your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when that question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his.
Well, that's crazy. That one's crazy.
So you think that a man going out with a girl, that's just your property?
That one was nuts.
I'm nuts now. Good.
If a guy and a girl is dating and a girl does OnlyFans, she owes him a cut?
She is his girl.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because she's his.
So that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him. And the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. A male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's
that's
given
And that's the top G.
Dude, that's okay. So hold on a second, though. I'll tell you right now, dude. I will tell you right now. Holy crap. I hope Will Thrill's dad doesn't get pissed at us. But anyway, I got to tell you that, dude,
He's gonna be like,
I watched that whole interview, and he actually brought up some really hilarious points, saying how he's like misquoted by like people that just like hate him and can't, like, they just hate the fact that he exists. That was really funny. So yeah, that one I was like, okay, that's kind of borderline, but yeah, I don't know. Any other controversial ones that we want to go over?
There's so many because it's Andrew Tate. But ultimately, I think a lot of his statements about women, which is the majority of what people criticize him for, I think in the same way establishment politicians and hyper liberal sentiments created Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, I think the last decade of feminism created Andrew Tate.
Dude,
oh, wow.
You literally stole the words out of my mouth. I said, if corporatism had not convinced philosophers to embrace feminism because it turned women into wage slaves, and had feminism not converted itself from being pro-woman to being anti-man, like being a young man in this world is so freaking hard because you are literally told from the day you're born that there is something inherently wrong with you that's bad. You're a rapist that's about to happen. You're a toxically masculine adult that's about to happen. If you want to work hard, that's bad. If you don't work hard and provide, you're a failure. But then if you try hard, that you're a bad person. Like, it is such a freaking minefield that it almost takes somebody over the top to overcome that. Feminism created Andrew Tate. That's a very wise thing you said.
Well, just from social media marketing perspective, we have so many feminist podcasts, so many feminist influencers. You've got like Drew Afualo on Twitter, not Twitter,
and giant
TikTok.
water bottles in your screen.
So
The water bottle's the top G.
Yeah.
But now we've had so much of this, just kind of the toxic side of feminism, that we've got this meninist.
But don't you think it's
showing up.
necessary, though? Don't you think a lot of this is necessary for the pendulum to swing back towards normalcy?
No, what I'm worried about is, look, I enjoy often playing the douchey frat boy of this show. Okay, it's very fun.
Are you our top G?
No,
Oh, of
because
course.
because
If we're to pick a top G here, it's obviously Quaku.
well, the problem is only top G's only drink sparkling water, as Andrew Tate says.
Oh,
Hey, does he say
What?
No, literally, that's what he does.
It's
He
the most ridiculous position.
he says top G's only drink sparkling water.
Yeah, so
And you can't technically argue with that because he made up what a top G is anyway.
Well,
so
Will
you're
the Thrill.
technically right, yeah.
I gotta know. We're gonna go back to Quaker here in a second, but Will the Thrill, like, how popular is this Andrew Tate guy right now? And like, what are the kids at school saying about it, dog?
They'll just say quotes on it, but
Like, what are the top quotes? Are they walking around saying like, "Yeah, I own a part of my girlfriend and a cut. I own a cut, man. You make money on Instagram, girl. I own a cut."
most
Like
of it
what?
is what color is your Bugatti, or
Yeah,
like something
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Bugatti, yeah.
What color's your Bugatti? Why? Where did that come
It's
from?
nice that middle school and college are the exact same lingo and culture. Isn't that wonderful?
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, such as social media. I'll tell you this: as working in the event scene, the high school and college market, like in terms of juniors on in high school and the college market, are
It's
completely
combining.
blended now.
Yeah.
Completely blended.
Really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
every college party has 1,000 high schoolers there who are seniors or juniors because TikTok, social media, gym culture, makeup, the cultures are 100% blended.
Okay. No, well, I noticed that when I was throwing big parties up at BYU too, and social media really started being able to, when Facebook stopped being just for college students, where you had to have
Yeah.
a college email address,
Mhm.
then all of a sudden there was a much more pronounced high schooler presence. We had to start like kind of trying to filter. It was kind of weird. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Yeah,
And then now it's like, forget it. You can't filter.
no,
You know what I'm saying?
because in our TikTok age, there is no sociological difference between a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. There's at all. They all hang out. They're all. It's like literally what you can't even tell the difference now.
They're
So it's
all
kinda
listening
like,
to Andrew Tate at a party.
which scares me because I don't want middle schoolers listening to. Well,
And
I
drink
mean,
his
I
sparkling
I
water.
also watched Family Guy when I in South Park when I was in middle school.
Yeah,
so
like-
maybe it's fine.
Is this guy worse than Family Guy? Like,
No,
not
Wait,
really.
You were just
no.
saying that the South Park guys were evil, dog.
I still watched them. How do you think I figured out they were evil?
It was
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. so
yeah.
I think it's a weird form
But
of
what I was
So
going to say
feminists
is that-
created Andrew Tate
Yeah.
so they can't complain when he says what they perceive as misogynist stuff.
But what I fear is, pride cometh before the fall, and this reaction to the toxic side of modern day feminism. Yes, the reaction is going to be this alpha G top. I'm the best BDE. My value comes from every material thing I can bring in this world and every physical attribute I have.
Mhm.
But that's not real value. Because you know what happens? When you're one of these alpha G guys and you're all about how in shape you are and how you have the best car and all this, what happens if you break your legs and you're in a wheelchair for the rest of your life?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's true.
All your
You-
value goes away.
You've
When you-
neglected your inherent value as
Yes.
a child of God.
And so I see the same, as much as I like respect the hustle and respect that this guy's able to make, his dreams of his life his reality. I do respect all that, but I think what's missing is that deep spiritual connection you need to have, because if you place all your value and your worth
Money
on just materiality and physicality, and the kingdom of God is within,
yeah.
you're gonna fall.
And that inherently is the kind of thing that I think makes it just as toxic as the feminism that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
That devoid of the spiritual acknowledgement that we're all brothers and sisters, right? I don't see Andrew Tate going out there and being like, look, we're all brothers and sisters. He's literally out there saying, yeah, you're all worms. Like,
You're all worms, and I'm the top dog that is here to eat you.
Exactly. It comes from the same place, right? Even though it's a reaction,
It
comes
does.
from the same place.
And
it's not a good thing, you know?
But also, I think he fulfills one of Jesus's sentiments toward, because if there's, I do have a somewhat guilty pleasure in watching people freak out online. I do it silently. I'll look and see. I don't comment. I don't respond. I just watch. And the big feminist accounts that I've been watching lose their mind over
I
Andrew
want
Tate.
names.
Okay, for one of the biggest TikTokers, it's a girl named Drew Afualo.
Okay,
I guess
I'm
she's
gonna
more of
look
a
her up.
woman because she's like late 20s. And what she does, she makes these TikToks responding to guys. So if a guy will say something about a woman's weight or what have you, she responds and she makes fun of the guy and usually makes fun of his height, his size of his pee-pee, or his hairline.
Wow.
And a lot of women just love her. They're like, "Oh, Drew, slay, take down this toxic male." But ultimately, all she does is exacerbate the problem she sees in society. So when she sees a TikTok of a guy talking about how fat a girl is and how fat girls are gross, she'll say, "Oh, you don't have a hairline, you have a tiny." So she uses, physical attributes against physical attributes.
Yeah.
So she
The
becomes.
wall.
Talking about her.
This chick?
Yeah, she's one of the most popular TikTokers.
Wait, this chick is
Really?
trolling people based on their physical appearance?
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh, honey, you don't have a leg to stand on, girl.
Well,
Like what? Oh my gosh! Who's RuPaul that she's hanging out
okay.
with?
So
Like what the heck?
I
But-
can't even see what you're referring to.
Seriously? Okay.
So I mean, we can watch some of her TikToks if you want, but her whole thing, that's what she's known for. She just makes fun of guys, insults their physicality because they insulted a woman's physicality.
Like post physique, girlfriend.
So her whole, but she is the definition of what she hates, and
Yeah.
and so, and in Jesus' sentiment, like I said, of those who live by the sword die by the sword, we're watching big toxic feminists be killed by another sword. That is Andrew Tate. We're watching their downfall, and it took someone with no shame. Because you can shame most of these alpha gym bros, but you can't shame a man who is like, I will not be a worm. You are a worm. I walk around with a sword. You can't.
it's
what
like-
can you say to that guy?
It's like
Nothing.
the epitome of the Sigma male grind set
Yeah.
thing actually coming into existence, and
Yes.
then us being like, "Oh crap! What have we done? What have we
Yes.
allowed?"
So now you have all these young boys walking around saying, "What color's your Bugatti? I'm a top G. Yeah, my girlfriend, she's my property." And that is such a level of out there. No amount of shame or toxic femininity is going to be able to stop it. So what it does, you see, those who live by the sword, they live by the sword of toxic third wave feminism, and now they're dying by the sword of Andrew Tate. But who's going to kill Andrew Tate? You know what I'm saying? And it's just going to keep
Something
going
worse
and
along the
going
line.
and going. Yeah.
Unless we learn to beat our swords into plowshares, right? And figure out how to actually focus on the spiritual side of things and chill things out. And actually, do you know, interesting point here. You know how the meek will inherit the earth?
Yes.
Yeah.
So something that I've really, really liked recently is learning how the definition of meekness is, we've kind of destroyed it in our modern society. And what it actually means is a lot closer to someone who knows how to use a sword but doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so just like
It's
you're
better
talking
to be
about,
a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to Andrew Tate's point about worms earlier, they can't defend themselves, right? You need to be able to know how to defend yourself, but then not use it in a way that is toxic, that is
I like
tearing
Muhammad
others
Ali's
down.
quote, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's always, I'm like, that's BA.
It's good
Because-
it's
yeah.
the same thing in the scriptures. Like, you need to be wise as serpents but harmless as doves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so I think that's what we're missing. And in this battle of toxic male and toxic feminism and all that stuff, ultimately, the true answer is the light. Like the light of Christ that does exist within everybody, that you have to learn to galvanize and grow. And becoming a top G or becoming the baddest or whatever thing the culture's trying to push you toward is going to kill you in the end. You're going to end up miserable and depressed.
Yeah.
So this is not me calling out Andrew Tate, because I know he's performing. So I don't know him as a person.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be one of these people who's like, here's the problem with Andrew Tate. I don't know him. I do know more about Drew because she makes her like it's less performance. She kind of reminds me of a schoolyard bully.
Yeah.
But I think she is sort of profiting off of. I think her goal is to make men feel bad, but Andrew Tate's goal is to make men feel good, and they both have very toxic.
Yeah.
They're both going about it in a way. So if I have to pick one, I'm picking Andrew Tate
Yeah.
because I see his goal is to try to lift people up, even if he's doing it incredibly flawed.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this girl is legitimately just a bully.
Yeah. He's fighting for something positive
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
as opposed to just beating down other people.
Yeah.
So at this point, he just needs to be canonized.
Oh my God.
All right,
having-
Carden, are we doing a podcast on Drew? We may as well do it.
on Drew Afwalo.
Yeah.
Sure, we can. I
Part
don't-
2 to this one?
Yeah, let's
make it
wrap up the.
Because I know
Andrew
the
Tate
comments are
discussion.
going to be saying, well, you didn't play her. We got to listen to her. So I say,
Okay,
let's,
so what are we gonna play? Do you want to just stop this one now and then
let's
play
stop it and let's do it up. It'll be part
Okay.
1, part 2.
I
We
want
got
to be able
another
to
one.
see the clips for.
Okay.
So we got to fix that.
We're going to end this one right here and do our homework right quick on Drew Offwalla, a person that I didn't know existed until like yesterminute. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you on the other side. This is Midnight Mormons.